Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment here for NFL Week 16 picks and predictions. Was too busy with work last week, unfortunately, to put out my Week 15 picks and predictions, but I went 11-5 last week, and people, I am still in first place for the SFE Pick'em Challenge. I mean, come on, people. I don't want to give a $100 Amazon gift card to myself. I mean, I'm going to do it at this rate, but, we also have a guy that's tied with me for first place, so we have plenty of people behind, so I still might choke this, but come on, people. I've been on fire all season long, and this is something that we hope to continue to do here in NFL Week 16. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started, and let us begin with a Friday game, a Christmas Day game we have. The Minnesota Vikings traveling to New Orleans, taking on the New Orleans Saints, where the Saints, they were able to compete last week with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I never really felt that they were going to win the game. Their offense really didn't come out of the gate. And then, they had a little bit of a resurgence in the second half, but you just really feel that the Saints were going to beat the Chiefs in that game. But they, remain competitive. The Vikings, on the other hand, they continue to be up and down. You don't really know what to expect. You got to go with the Saints here. Drew Brees being back in the lineup. Michael Thomas isn't back in the lineup, but with Brees back, they're starting to get more of their mojo back defensively for the most part. They did have their struggles a little bit with the Kansas City Chiefs last week, but who doesn't? The Saints are the better team here. The Saints are at home. Give me the Saints to win this game in New Orleans. We move on to the next game. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Detroit Lions, and the Lions got their asses kicked by the Tennessee Titans last week. But I mean, come on, they're the Tennessee Titans. What do you expect? And now they host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that was down 17-0 last week to a divisional rival, granted, in the Atlanta Falcons, but then ended up coming back and winning the game. The Bucs know that the playoffs, they're likely to be a playoff team at this point, but they're still up for grabs. They can't afford to lose this game and to really become in trouble in terms of losing a potential wild card spot in the playoffs. And hey, they're still alive in the NFC South as well, though it really does look like the Saints have it wrapped up, and they will have it wrapped up if they beat the Minnesota Vikings, as I predict. But I still have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning this game. You can't really pick the Lions to win much of anything right now. They're already taking the rest of the season at this point. We move on to the next game. We have the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. And the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, they're trying to secure that last playoff spot. They had their eyes set on it. This is a big game for them. The 49ers, they're now out of it, but Kyle Shanahan's still going to get the most that he can out of this team. Now, unfortunately for him, Nick Mullins stinks. He's not a very good quarterback, but their defense is still able to do some things, give some teams trouble. We saw that a couple weeks ago against the Los Angeles Rams, so don't sleep on this matchup too much, but ultimately, I have to go with the Cardinals to win a close game here. Don't expect this to be, I think the spread right now is like 5 for the Cardinals. I'm not really buying that. I think the 49ers were certainly a competitor and might have been upset because, this was not a strong year for them, especially coming off of their Super Bowl appearance, but they've had their strong performances. Don't sleep on the 49ers here. We move on to the next game. We have the Miami Dolphins at the Las Vegas Raiders, where it appears that Derek Carr is going to play in this game. Damn it. As a lot of you guys know, I am a Marcus Mariota stan, and I would love to see Mariota again. Boy, did he look good last week. Woo! Now, he's going to get injured. Make no doubt about it. The way he's running around, trying to prove a point, he going to get injured. But I want to see Marcus Mariota versus Tua Tagovailoa. These two go way back to Hawaii. Okay, and I want to see the matchup here. And they have so many similarities in their game, one of which is that they're both very injury prone. But in this game, if Derek Carr plays, okay, give me the Dolphins. And he probably will play. He was a full participant in Wednesday's practice. And I just think, with him in the lineup, you could argue that they're better offensively, sure. But I really thought Mariota gave them a spark last week that could actually uplift them against the Dolphins. But with Carr just being in the pocket, not really doing anything creative, Josh Jacobs hasn't been particularly effective this year running the football. The Dolphins defense continues to be dominant. It's the Dolphins winning here. But if they put in Mariota, I will have my eyebrow raised. We move on to the next game. We have the Atlanta Falcons at the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Chiefs continue to win games by less than a touchdown. I mean, you're talking now 6 games or less they've won by 1 score. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Now, They host the Falcons, where the Falcons, look, they're still kind of competing here. I think we have another scenario where the Chiefs will sleep a little bit, and I wouldn't be shocked. A lot of it would be. I would not be shocked if the Falcons actually pulled off the upset. I mean, Raheem Morris is not really coaching for much, but he's still trying to prove himself to be at least a competent defensive coordinator in this league. He might have something prepared for the Kansas City Chiefs that they haven't seen. And it feels like the Chiefs, now that they have separation between them and the Pittsburgh Steelers, between them and also the Cleveland Browns and the Buffalo Bills, they might, sleep on this game a little bit and allow for the Falcons to upset them. But ultimately, the Chiefs, they keep getting it done. It's hard to pick against Mahomes in the fourth quarter right now. So give me the Chiefs to win this game at home. We move on to the next game we have. The Chicago Bears at the Jacksonville Jaguars, where I will tell you, I had my eyebrow raised. It appears as if the Jaguars are finally prepared to give Gardner Minshew more of a shake. Okay, just, throw him out there and see what he can do, as they should be doing. But, now they realize that they have the number one pick, so they might really take this one away. But the Bears in this Mitchell Trubisky run, I mean, he looks better, okay? I really want to go a deep dive in the offseason and see how much better he actually is, but he looks better. I have a sneaky suspicion this is going to be a close game. I don't know why, but that's just the feeling that I have. Now, ultimately, I can't pick the Jaguars to win a damn thing. Are you crazy? But I can pick them to at least compete against the Bears here and make it interesting. So look out for this game. We move on to the next one. You have the Cincinnati Bengals at the Houston Texans, where the Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last week on Monday Night Football, surprising the world. Now, we all knew the Steelers were overrated. We all knew when they were 11-0, one of the worst 11-0 teams, if not the worst ever. But to lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, the Bengals have beaten the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans this season. A season where they're 3-10-1. What is going on? Now, they traveled to Houston, where I think they're going to compete again. I really feel like the losses of Will Fuller and Bradley Wilbur were so huge for the Texans. Now, they were still able to compete and almost beat the Indianapolis Colts last week, but still, those losses, man, to the PEDs, I don't know what's going on with their coaches and what they're prescribing, but man, they are just depleted on both of those sides in terms of the cornerbacks and wide receivers. Now, ultimately, yes, give me the Texans to win here, but you know what? I think the Bengals after that win is going to be a little more inspired and compete a little more than you might think. We move on to the next game. You have the Cleveland Browns at the New York Jets, and man, Jets, Jets. They can't even lose correctly. As Trevor Lawrence is sitting in their laps, they say, no, let's go beat a winning team in the Los Angeles Rams? What? Nonsense. But here come the Browns that will do pretty much the exact same damn thing against the New York Giants last week. They're going to run the ball. The game's going to be boring as all hell. And before you know it, it'll be over. Give me the Browns to win this game in New York. We move on to the next game. We have the Indianapolis Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers, how the mighty have fallen, losing now 3 straight games, losing to the Cincinnati Bengals in the last game. What is going on? The Colts playing well. They made the last week's game against the Texans more competitive than it should have been. And, we're really in trouble there late, which is concerning. But, hey, it was a divisional matchup. I'll give you some credit on that. Mike Tomlin, there's just performances where his team, they get motivated, they show up, and they really wake up. And I think this has to be one. They know that their backs are against the wall. The AFC North is now back up for grabs. This is ridiculous. We thought it was over and done with. They have to dig deep. They will dig deep and get the victory here. Now, I'm being a little biased here because I want them to lose. That way my Titans have a clear path to winning the AFC South by just beating the Houston Texans in Week 17, honestly. But I just can't see the Steelers losing 4 straight. They gotta wake up. Come on, man. So give me the Steelers to win this game at home. We move on to the next game. We have the New York Giants at the Baltimore Ravens, where the Ravens are on a nice winning streak, and this is what I foresaw. I told you people 2-3 weeks ago they're going to win out and they will make the playoffs 11-5, and it is coming to fruition now. Now, the Browns matchup was close a couple weeks ago, but they still got it done. They're going to continue the wave now, as the rest of the schedule is pretty damn easy. Give me the Ravens to beat the New York Giants here, although the Giants are still in the discussion for the NFC East, but I think after this week they may not be. All right, we move on to the next game. We have the Denver Broncos at the Los Angeles Chargers, and let me tell you, the Chargers have disappointed me too much this year when I picked them. Now, lately, they've actually gotten a couple dubs, okay? Lately, they've gotten a couple dubs. They beat the Falcons and they beat someone else. But historically, especially in recent history against the Broncos, they have their struggles. They have their struggles. The Broncos have fallen a little bit. I mean, they haven't been great all year, but they're on a little bit of a slide. I think we're kind of due for an upset here. Divisional matchup. Broncos, they play well against the Chargers. It'll be a sweep, which, is a little surprising. But, I'm buying into that. So go ahead and give me the Broncos. I don't really have a good reason for you. It's just intuition. Hello, I have 155 correct picks this year. Just trust me. Just believe, okay? All right. We move on to the next game. We have the Carolina Panthers at the Washington football team. And let me tell you, I kind of wanted to pick the Panthers here because I'm kind of feeling like, okay, come on. The Panthers were 3-2, and oh my God, were they 1-8 since? Okay, it's been bad, including a lot of close losses to the Chiefs, to several teams last week, to the Packers. Although they were down early significantly, they came back and made it kind of interesting. They should be able to beat Washington, but Washington is on such a roll. I mean, they competed with the Seahawks last week with Dwayne Haskins at quarterback. This guy's a nothing quarterback in this league. They went to, blow out the Cowboys, which, I mean, that's not a huge accomplishment, but, it's an accomplishment. They were able to beat the Steelers. They're on a better run than the Panthers right now. There's an upset alert here, don't get me wrong, but I just can't pick against Washington right now. And Alex Smith should be back, because let me tell you, man, this Dwayne Haskins stinks. I mean, I try to warn these Washington fans before the year. He's not going to make it through the year as a starting quarterback. He's a nothing quarterback. I've seen it, okay? Vince Young was better than this guy, and I had faith in Vince Young. Dwayne Haskins, no shot. And in the nightclub, oh God. Okay, in a pandemic. Okay, get out. All right, move on to the next game. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Dallas Cowboys, where Jalen Hurts. Now, he hasn't won anything, but, he looks good. Now, he won one game. He looks good. And I still don't have much faith in him in terms of his future prospects. I don't buy it. I think when teams get tape on him, I don't think he has the NFL arm. I don't think he's able to really read defenses particularly well in the long run. But for now, he's hard to contain, and he's going to continue to make some plays, especially against this Cowboys defense. Now, the Cowboys still have their eyes on the NFC East. They still have a chance. They still have hope. But I think the Eagles dash the hopes in this one, and they go to Dallas, and they get the W. We move on to the next game. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Seattle Seahawks, where everyone wants to pick the Seahawks, but the Rams beat the Seahawks, albeit in Los Angeles, pretty soundly this season. It was pretty convincing. Seahawks, struggling against the Washington football team, having their issues here and there throughout the year. You know what? I think the Rams have now, they lost to the Jets last week. Okay, granted. But when they've had to show up in these big games, they kind of show up. Like when they had to go to Arizona, they showed up. When they had to host Seattle, they showed up. Give me the Rams to win in Seattle, to take control of the NFC West, something people did not see before the season and certainly did not see at the beginning of the season. We move on to the next game. We have the Tennessee Titans at the Green Bay Packers. Okay, it's one of those times. I can't do it. I really want to pick against my team, but I can't do it. This is the biggest game that we've had since last year's playoffs. I mean, maybe this year against the Steelers you can argue at the time because we were both undefeated, but to me, this is a bigger game. Packers trying to secure the number 1 seed, potentially if the Seahawks lose their game. Maybe the Saints too have to lose. I don't know. There's some bye week scenario there. They're trying to get closer than them, was it? I know that for sure. And the Titans trying to secure the AFC South. Man, if the Titans can win this game, they're going to show me that, okay, we can beat this is a little Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe not even little. I mean, they're about the same. Now, the different teams, don't get me wrong. The Packers have worse weapons, right? The Chiefs have their Travis Kelce. The Packers have Robert Tonyan. Okay, I get it. And the Packers defense is more dangerous. They have a better pass rush. This is our test. And you know what? After last week, Adoree Jackson being back in the lineup, covering so well, I think we do a little bit better than maybe I anticipated a couple weeks ago, and the Titans get the job done. Am I being biased? Perhaps. But I'll be biased today, occasionally. So that's what I have. Derrick Henry, by the way, having a huge game. And then we move on to the final game. We have the Monday Night Football game. We have the Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. Now, the Patriots. They were 6-6. Some people started having this hopeful rhetoric. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, it was a nice little run, but, you know, the writing was on the wall, people. I mean, Cam Newton he had 5 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, awful. Now he's been running the ball well, but terrible. Are the weapons great? No, but come on. But the Patriots defense, it is great. And the Bills, I like them, but my team, the Titans, whipped their asses. Okay, we just bent them over and slapped their little behinds. I'm not too afraid about the Bills. There's an upset alert here, people, that people are sleeping on. Now, give me the Bills. Give me one stupid Josh Allen run to win them this game. But this could end up looking like their win against the Seahawks that a lot of people didn't anticipate them getting. Wait, did they actually beat the Seahawks in that game? Okay, that's cap. They did. But this could end up being their win against the Ravens. That's the one I'm thinking about. Where, you know, they just get a couple runs, and then before you know it, you're like, wow, the Patriots beat the Ravens. Huh, interesting. That's what exactly this game could end up being. Give me the Bills, but just barely. Okay, one of the quarterbacks, either Josh Allen or Cam Newton, will make a dumb run to win the game. Okay, that's what's going to happen. All right, so we move on to my guarantees of the week. These are my betting picks of the week. Last week, I didn't have any picks, so I didn't make a video, but the week before, I went 4-2. So overall on this year, I'm 32-24. Money being made. Let's keep the money coming down. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans Saints. Give me over 50.5. I just feel that the Saints are going to put up 30 at least. And I feel like at the very least, Kirk Cousins could give me a garbage touchdown to give me over the 50. We move on to the Denver Broncos +3. Again, they play the Los Angeles Chargers pretty well. That's been their move. At the very least, I think I can get a push here, but I think I might even get this outright. We have the Atlanta Falcons +10.5. Again, we're talking about 6 straight games where the Chiefs have only beaten teams by a single score. And the Falcons are actually, I'd say, about average in terms of the teams that the Chiefs have been facing. So give me the +10.5 points. Patriots +7. I think we're looking at a low-scoring game, and I think they're going to show up. I think he's going to have a great game plan to slow down Josh Allen and this Bills offense. And then also give me the under 46. Patriots defense is going to do its job. It's going to be cold. It's going to be night. Give me the under 46 there. So with that said, that's going to do it for my NFL Week 17 picks and predictions. What are your picks and predictions? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.